Today I want to talk about a new patent that Nintendo has officially filed that could indeed be linked to Nintendo Switch 2, or at least a component within the retail box of Nintendo Switch 2 when we do find out about this console officially from Nintendo. Now, even if you don't want to keep up with all of the rumor mill, leak, and speculation around Nintendo launching their next gen hardware, it is widely expected to launch now in early 2025. Q1 is the time frame going around, which you would assume they're just going to probably copy and paste what they did with the Switch and launch it in March of 2025. One thing that has also been heavily reported upon is that this is once again expected to be a hybrid form factor console. So why would Nintendo ditch something that is such a success for them right now with the Switch at over almost 140 million units being sold? I'm sure it's over that now at this point, but officially it's 139 and some change from the last official updated report, and logic will just tell you that Nintendo's going to continue in that same direction with the successor console. And there's also reports suggesting it will have an 8-inch LCD display as opposed to the 7-inch OLED for the OLED model Switch that is available now. And I want to be very clear when talking about patents that they don't necessarily end up as finalized products. So while you can look at the patent that we're going to be walking through and maybe get a little bit excited that we may have just gotten a surprise glimpse of one of the features of the dock to the Nintendo Switch 2, it is not a finalized product in any way, shape, or form and shouldn't be treated as such. This is just a technology that Nintendo is patenting that has actually been spotted a couple years back, but there's an update and a fresh new patent to it with some changes to the document. So we're going to break all of that down. Before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And I want to first hop over to Nintendo Life and read through an article that they have detailed typed up around this. I would also like to shout out Mike Odyssey, as he was one of the ones I saw talking about this online first. And it did also come to light that Nash Weedle had talked about something very similar in terms of this feature years back. So I'll let you guys be the judge on whether or not you think Nintendo's going to use this tech within their next gen system. But you can first see this article, which reads, Nintendo files patent to ease troublesome Switch dock wires. Looking at the dock from the back, the AC adapter, HDMI out, and LAN ports all face towards the left. If your TV houses its ports on the right side, this means you'll either need to loop the wires around to the right to connect them, or strategically position your dock to the left of your TV in order to alleviate the issue. Well, that might be a thing of the past. If a recent patent from Nintendo eventually comes to fruition, it's also equally likely that it won't, by the way. Dated the 2nd of April 2024 and posted on the Reddit R-Gaming Leaks and Rumors page, the patent is essentially a rotating I/O input/output panel designed to allow you to position the dock's ports on either the left or right side. As Nintendo states itself, this is to theoretically streamline the connection of cables from the dock to the TV, something it describes as potentially troublesome with the dock's ports currently locked to one side. The below images show the solution in action, showcasing what Nintendo describes as the swivel block rotating 180 degrees to allow the ports to swap from left to right. 2 USB ports are also located on the opposite side, so those would flip over accordingly. As you're no doubt already aware, the USB ports on the current dock are located on the right side exterior, again looking at it from the back. So let's assume that Nintendo has recently updated this patent because they are planning to use the tech in upcoming hardware. I don't think this is tied to Switch 1. It's pretty clear that we're not going to get another Nintendo Switch revision at this point in time. Whatever Nintendo is baking up for us at this point, a full 7 years plus into the Switch's life cycle, it's not going to be like another OLED model that comes with a slightly different dock. That doesn't make any sense. So we are probably looking at a feature that could theoretically be within the Switch 2 dock, and that is exciting. I am also very hopeful that the Switch docks that we have today, at least the ones with the OLED model and forward, might be compatible with Nintendo Switch 2, because there have been some teardowns of these docks, and it does seem that the HDMI port that Nintendo included in there can at least handle 4K 60, which you would hope that a base resolution when docked would be a thing on Switch 2, not talking native 4K, but rather upscaled via a solution like DLSS that we are very much expecting Nintendo to bake into their next gen console. And you might also remember that we once got a feature spotted in the software that is an update dock feature. Nobody really knows what that's there for. So in theory, it would be nice if Nintendo says, hey, this console's actually still supported on your current docks. So the ones you have in different rooms of the home, if you have multiple switches like I do, you can still use those docks, or you can get this new one that will be a little bit easier to cable manage. And of course, I'm sure they'll sell it standalone in addition to just packaging it in with the console itself. But I like the swivel idea. You're also going to get an extra USB port out of it from the sounds of things, because there's 2 USB ports on the side. That is opposite of the HDMI, the power, and the LAN port, of course. And really, when looking at the patent images, it looks incredibly similar to the current Switch dock that we do have today. But of course, you have like a couple openings on each side because you're going to need to be able to run the cables either direction. This seems a lot more convenient to me. I wouldn't be opposed to something that's a little bit different looking though than the current dock. Like, I've even seen some third-party ones that make the Switch open face. I don't use any third-party docks myself, but I would say that something like that would actually make the system maybe look a little bit more modern instead of covering the screen. But that's just a personal preference for me. Clearly, the dock that we have today is highly functional. I'm assuming the USB ports will still be on the front of it, and in addition to the ones on the back. So you're getting some new USBs. You're able to run it either direction, which is very nice to see. And we now just realistically need Nintendo to come out with some kind of trailer or some kind of timeline on what to expect for their next gen console. I do think with the news cycle how it is right now as a Nintendo Switch owner, you probably notice it is bare bones and dry. We did get a 1000-Year Door little quick updated trailer. That's of course Nintendo's big May title. We know Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is out in June, but we have no first party communication past that from Nintendo right now. And this is very much feeling like the transition year, or the lead up to the transition rather, if we are to believe that early 2025 next year is when we should expect this console to launch. And you would assume that by their investors briefing, which is coming up in May, that Nintendo will need to say something to investors about their next fiscal year hardware sale projections. And I think we're at least going to get a code name or a comment that they are indeed planning to launch new hardware, but they will have more information available soon. There's also Nate the Hate talking online that developers have been contacted for trailer snippets, presumably for some kind of first look trailer, or even just a trailer that will be utilized later on within the marketing cycle of Switch 2. This very much feels like the calm before the storm, and now we have some new dock patents to look at and give us that much more to speculate upon around what this console might all entail. But that's where I really want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, your personal thoughts on all of this. What do you make of this patent update and the fact that it just got updated as of April 2nd with the swivel dock technology? Do you think we are looking at the patent for the technology that Nintendo chooses to use with Nintendo Switch 2? Do you think this might be tied to some kind of surprise Switch revision that they will sell at the end of the console's life cycle, which I guess is not totally out of the realm of possibility? Maybe they want to make a cheaper Switch that can be sold alongside of Switch 2 and it comes with this dock, and that's what we're looking at. And what would you personally like to see out of a dock design wise? Do you like those open face ones that are third parties that you've seen around there to kind of make the console look a little bit more modern? Or do you think that the screen covered is actually a better design move and Nintendo should keep it very similar to the current docks? And do you hope that we can use our current docks that we have today with Switch 2 once we find out about its official launch time and we have it playable in our hands? So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch the video on screen next if you haven't already. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.